Okay, and on to the reading 3, making the most of trends. Let's see what we can do. So, of course, first thing we do is look at what we've got. Once again, multiple choice, and then match the statements with something in the box, the name of a company, and complete a sentence. So, if you've done Cambridge 11 and 12, you should be familiar with the strategy by now. I'll go over it again. As I've said many times, multiple choice, you're going to leave it for last, but you're going to see if it can help you to find where these questions come from. That's probably the most important thing at the beginning of this passage, and indeed at the beginning of most passage 3s. Find where each question section comes from, and then that will help you to decide what to start with. So the multiple choice does help us a little bit, because they say first paragraph, third paragraph, and we want to just go and find that really and see where that is. So first paragraph, third paragraph, but we're looking for that ME2, and we see it all the way down over here, all in this paragraph over here. So the multiple choice ends here, which is not such good news because it's most of the text. But anyway, let's continue. So we know where the multiple choice is. Now where is match the statements with the company? What you're going to do here is just scan for these 4 things, these 4 names. So it's not too difficult to see. The first one is there. It's in this paragraph, Coach. The next one is there. The next paragraph, Tesco's. The next one, Nike, is over here. And the last one, iToys, is over there. Okay, so that, it could be bad news, it could be good news. It means the first question type, the multiple choice, ends here, and the second question type, the matching statements, also ends here. So that might mean that the last question type comes from there, and that's probably the first thing that you want to check. If that's true, it's probably good news because this is not a lot to check. So let's just see where this last question type comes from. With these, they will have paraphrased either that or that, but we don't really know which one they've paraphrased. So all you can really do is start scanning for trend-related changes impacting on your category. Another strange thing about this that's very unusual is a lot of the word you and your, which is unusual in academic writing. So that would also stand out. So we're going to start and just see if it's over here, and immediately I can see trend-related changes and impact on your category, and a lot of the word you. If you look around here, I can't see you, and your. So they've sort of changed the tone of this, and over here they've started talking to the reader with this word you and your. So immediately that makes me feel quite good. I'm quite confident that this question type is just from this last paragraph or these last 2 paragraphs. So that means that I will start with that question type. I know a lot of students will want to immediately scan for these and start with those. That's not bad, but if you take the time to just find where the questions come from, where questions 32 to 37 come from, where 38 to 40 come from, that will show you that this is probably the best area to start, just because it's less to read. So that means I'm going to start with this question type, the last one. So if there are any trend-related changes impacting on your category, you should do what? One of these things: employ, identify, emphasize, or use, and then you'll have to look at those. But let's look at the sentence. If there are any trend-related changes impacting on your category, you should. Now we know where the sentence is. Trend-related changes impact on your category. This is where the answer will be. You should determine which of our 3 innovation strategies to pursue. Which of the 3 innovation strategies? There's the third one, there's the second one, and there's the first one. Anyway, that's besides the point. Which of those we should pursue? That's what we need to do. Employ a combination of strategies to maintain your consumer base? No. Identify the most appropriate innovation strategy to use? Yes. Emphasize your brand's traditional values? No. Use this strategy to integrate the two worlds? No. But it's definitely this. You should identify the most appropriate innovation strategy to use is determine which of our 3 strategies to pursue. Identify, determine which one to use to pursue. So quite straightforward. If you identified that this is the sentence that we're looking at, and you can find that quite quickly, then you can get that answer quite quickly. So that means 38 is B. And remember, they didn't say you can use any of them more than once, so that means we can delete B. If a current trend highlights a negative aspect, you should. If a current trend highlights a negative aspect, you should. Now I want something about negative aspect. Meaningful consumers trend will allow you. Increasing disparity might be negative. Need to transcend between your category and consumers' new focus. Finally, notice the linking language. If aspects with an undesired outcomes of a trend, there is an opportunity to counteract these. So we're looking for some kind of negative aspect, but I can't really see it. Maybe undesired outcomes. So I would actually skip that one, go on to the next one. Let's see if we can find something easier there. Remember, because we can delete these, find the easy ones first. If the consumer's new focus has an increasing lack of connection with your offering, you should. New focus, increasing lack of connection. New focus. An increasing disparity is increasing lack of connection, and new focus is over there. So that's great. That means this is the question and the answer is over here. Your innovations need to transcend the category to integrate the two worlds. New focus, lack of connection, transcend the category to integrate the two worlds. Right there, pretty straightforward. So that one then is D. Now the problem with this one, and I've never seen this before with these, they've jumped, they've gone from there to there and then back to there. I'll show you what I mean. What are we looking for? Current trend highlights a negative aspect of your category. So that's, I would expect it to be over here because the next answer was over there, but it's actually there. So they've changed the order of the questions, which is, I haven't seen them do that before with this question type, but remember, this is reading 3 and they can do it just to make it more difficult. So the undesired outcomes of the trend are the negative aspects. Then you should do this. Counteract those changes by reaffirming the core values of your category. Remember, we used that. Counteract and traditional values, core values is there. So that means that that one is C. Alright, so let's just quickly revise. You found the multiple choice, you found these, that left only these paragraphs, and so we started scanning there for the remaining questions, and yes, we found them. So that was good news, we found it quite quickly. Then the other important thing is they went in a different order, they changed the order. In the text, it's this one, and then this one, and then this one, which is very unusual, but they can do that in reading 3. Once you found the sentences, it was quite straightforward. It was really just a matter of matching up the synonyms or matching up the keywords. But finding the sentences was quite difficult, but with the right strategy you can do it. Right, let's move on. Okay, let's move on to these matching statements with the correct company. Now, sometimes this helps you, but here it doesn't really. The question is statements by who, and it's just statements by the author in this case, so statements by the writer of the article, so it doesn't really narrow it down. It could be anything in the paragraph. Alright, so we've already found the paragraphs. The paragraphs are quite clear. Coach, Tesco, Nike, toys. Coach is this paragraph, Tesco is this paragraph, Nike is that paragraph, and iToys is that paragraph. So that's quite clear. Then what you're going to do is highlight key language. The problem is they're going to paraphrase. This is all going to be paraphrases. This is the scanning language, and this is the other language, which means that they're going to paraphrase this a lot. It means you're not going to find these keywords, but you're going to find a paraphrase for these keywords, which makes it a bit difficult. Anyway, what would you highlight through this? What is the key language that you would look for? I'm going to just highlight mine. Pause the video if you want. So this is what I think is the key language. Most of the time you'll notice it's noun phrases. Remember in reading one, we're looking for nouns, but here we're looking for noun phrases a lot of the time, but not always. Here, for example, it's a verb phrase. Anyway, so I'm not going to read them all. Take a look at them yourselves. What you should do now is just think about these, because you're not going to find harmful effects. You're going to find an example of harmful effects or something like that. Just make sure you understand that. Collaborating with another manufacturer, working with another company, incentive, encouragement scheme or something. Corporate social responsibility is something that they do for society. Positive attitude, you understand. Difficult circumstances, difficult times, you understand. Growing trend. Unrelated is there. Often the negatives help you. Avoid and charging less. Just read them and making sure you understand them. Read them quite carefully, because you're looking for the paraphrase. So you need to understand the idea, not the word itself. And then I'm afraid there's not much tips and tricks that I can give you, because then you actually just need to start reading. There's no easy way to do this. There's no way to isolate a specific sentence, for example, as in many other question types. It's somewhere in this paragraph, and it's difficult to know where, so you just need to read. Remember, an important thing to remember here is you're going to use these paragraphs for multiple choice too. So you can use some of the multiple choice time. So I would just start with one paragraph, read quite carefully, and see if you can see any of those things that we highlighted. Anyway, so I'm not going to read through the whole paragraph with you. That's what you need to do now, and you need to see, can you find any of these things? And that's the only way to do this. So I'm just going to show you where they are. If you want, pause the video now, read through those paragraphs, see if you can find them. Keep your eye on the time. Right, so what did you find? Did you see anything in this paragraph over here? I saw actually two things. The first one that I saw was tough times. Can you see tough times in the questions? Tough times was difficult circumstances. Customers had a positive attitude toward dealing with difficult circumstances. Customers were eager to lift themselves and the country. There's the positive attitude, to lift themselves, to raise themselves out of tough times. Do you see how much they paraphrase it? So the tough times gave us that one. So that means that 35 is a coach. And there was actually another one. It was there, and then it was actually there. Lower prices, cutting prices. Can you see that? And it's this one over here. Charge its customers for less. So did it avoid this company? Did it avoid charging less? They don't say avoid, but they say in contrast to the many companies that did, and then they blah, 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 blah. So the in contrast is actually the avoid. Really not easy. So that one again was a. Okay, so what have we got left? Harmful effects, collaborating with another manufacturer. It's a good idea to go over these again and again and again, just to remind yourself what you're looking for. Incentive scheme, corporate social responsibility, lifestyle trend, unrelated sector. Let's look at the next paragraph about Tesco. Can you see any of those there? Pause the video. And it was this whole thing over here. Demonstrates the company's commitment to protecting the environment. Protecting the environment is the corporate social responsibility. Demonstrate was actually there. It's commitment to protecting the environment, corporate social responsibility. Where was the incentive scheme? We can go and find that. The scheme is the program. Nothing about incentive. Right. So it was the protecting the environment was the social responsibility. So that means that one was Tesco. Okay, next paragraph. What can you see? Again, maybe just read them again. What are we looking for? Harmful effects. Collaborating with another manufacturer. Growing lifestyle trend. Unrelated product sector. And that was teamed up with a company, teamed up with Apple. Team up with, collaborate with another company, another manufacturer. They worked together with another manufacturer, so that one was Nike. See? There was one that I actually missed, but I'll show you where it was. This one was also there, a growing trend in an unrelated product sector. Notice the unrelated, the negative can often help you. A seemingly irrelevant trend, an unrelated product sector, a growing trend in an irrelevant sector. So that one was also Nike, but that one was very difficult. I almost didn't get that one. So that means the last one is probably D. You should probably, at this point, you're probably running out of time, so you should just guess D and move on. But I'll just show you where it is. Where are the harmful effects? We're in D. Undesirable, harmful. And then countering the negatives. That's mainly the better one. Negative effects, harmful effects. So then that one was definitely D. Okay, so a very difficult question type. No easy way to do it. I think you just needed to focus on one paragraph at a time and then watch the time and see if you've got time to continue or you must move on and start guessing. Let's do the multiple choice. Okay, and then on to the multiple choice. As usual, I'm going to do them quite quickly and sort of just show you where the answers are, because there are not many tips and tricks for multiple choice. It's the most difficult question type. You need to watch the time, be prepared to guess, see if you can find some easy ones, make sure you notice where they come from, and then just read the paragraph. Sometimes they focus on a sentence, but usually they're focusing on meaning of a whole paragraph, so it's not easy. Anyway, the writer says that most managers, so let's find most managers do what? Most managers is right at the beginning, but I want you to just notice, okay, they identify major trends of the day. This word but often introduces important information, as I've said many times in other readings. They can identify the major trends, but in the course of blah, 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 we have discovered that. Ignore all of that. That's just support information. Managers fail to recognize the less obvious but profound ways these trends influencing customers. They fail to recognize the less obvious ways that the trends affect the customers. And it's over there. They fail to recognize the less obvious ways, the profound ways that these trends affect the customers. So 27 is D. Third paragraph. Anxious, I don't know if it's going to be there. It just means they wanted to. What did coach want to do? Follow its competitors. This one you could focus on because you've read this paragraph before, so maybe if you have time, don't guess, try and do it. Maintain its prices. Safeguard its reputation as a manufacturer of luxury goods and modify its brand. Now, I was tempted to go with that because they didn't lower their prices as it was in this question over here, but it was actually something else. It was this one again after the however introduces important information that would have risked cheapening the brand's image. They were anxious not to risk cheapening the brand's image. They wanted to keep it as a luxury brand. And so they started this whole program. So this is what they were worried about. Super difficult. So 28 was C. What did they say about the program? Here they just sort of describe the program, and then here they say the results of the program. So this is probably the sentence. It means they have not abandoned its traditional retail offerings. Can you see that one? Did not require to modify its core business activities. There's nothing here. You can look at these just to delete them. This one is probably a good one to do, to focus on, because it's a smaller paragraph, and this one is a smaller paragraph. It's a good idea with multiple choice, focus on the smaller paragraphs. So these ones weren't there, and it wasn't the first time. We don't know if it was the first time. So that one was A. This one was very difficult. At first glance, spending this sounds like it's hardly worthwhile. Initially, it looks like it's a bad idea. It appears to have few benefits, is the answer. So really difficult. I mean, how to get that from this whole big paragraph? Really, only a Band 9 student will get that. So don't waste your time with it. Just guess it. What was original? Now, I've focused in on this sentence over here. What set it apart from the rest. It says what makes it original. It incorporated the physical component of children's play, but that wasn't really there. They went on to say it catered to children's desire to play video games while countering the negatives such as these unhealthy lifestyles. Address people's concern about unhealthy lifestyles. People's concern is not even there. So once again, the multiple choice was so difficult, and there's not many tips and tricks. It's designed for Band 9 students, so don't be afraid to just guess a lot of these and use your time better somewhere else. Anyway, that's the end of that reading 3. Thank goodness. Let's do a reading 1 next.